Wow, talk about coming out just tearing things up. Man, a little bit of some Halloween-themed audio going on in the house tonight. But it's that time of the week again. Wednesday. Coming to you from our studios, wherever they may be. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for you, the always valued and appreciated listener. And I see we've got Stryker in the house, we've got Swansea in the house. There's a new name in the chat, Mr. Backbacon. Ohio Relic Hunter, shout out to Bill. He's really liking his shirt. Suki's in the house. Miller, the bug killer. He's on board. Looks like, I see some, let's see, there's some Stealth Digger support in the house with Trooper Bry, and even some support from one of our very friendly metal detecting forums, Treasure Illustrated. I recognize the name Gone Fishing. So we've got quite a number of people filing into the chat. Always good to see. A couple of quick announcements. We've already, like I said, shout out to the Treasure Illustrated forum. Very friendly place, great group of people doing some great things over there. Check them out. They're definitely growing. Very nice forum. Dealers, man, who do we want to talk about this week? It's been a while since we've mentioned Big Boy's Hobbies. Evan Granger, great guy to deal with. Check him out. Ironclad Detectors, another great group to deal with for your detecting needs. There's a lot of them out there. The important thing, and our friends over at Treasure Hunter Supply. Can't forget Joe Angel. Really been helping the Stealth Diggers out quite a bit lately. Great to see. So check those out, or if you've already got a dealer you're comfortable with, by all means, stick with them. I mean, if they're treating you right, make sure and continue that relationship. Tonight, the Dirt Bandit is not MIA, but he is not here. He's indisposed. He is down and out. Whatever this bug was that he caught out in the mountains is a super doozy of a bug. He's trying to deal with it. It's pretty rough. It's pretty much knocked him off his feet. So if we can, let's make sure and keep the Dirt Bandit in our thoughts, as well as Mr. Chris Engel, Beer Barrel, in the chats. He's having a little bit of rough times right now too, so let's make sure and keep him in our thoughts as well. And in light of that, tonight, we've actually got Diggin Freedom from YouTube setting in with us, so we will bring him in. How is it going, Frank?
Oh, very well, Josh, and you know, I can't fill Kenny's shoes, but I'll do the best I can.
Well, that is that's a hard set of shoes to fill.
It sure is.
He's very, very passionate and determined about the hobby, and we do hope that he gets to feeling better, so that he can attend the project that we've been working on towards the end of the month with CWPPO and their dig in Ohio.
Yes, sir. And, you know, all my best wishes and thoughts go to him for a quick recovery, so he can be there.
Right. And let's see. Oh, Utah Nichols in the house. Wow.
And tomorrow night, it's a good thing I saw that name, because tomorrow night I wanted to make sure to mention that Family Campfire will run with a special edition. Mr. Howard Hewitt will be the guest, the godfather of metal detecting, and I'm telling you what, folks, if you have not had the opportunity to hear Howard Hewitt on Beyond Sight and Sound, it's always in the archive, or tune in tomorrow night to Utah's Family Campfire. Howard is extremely passionate about the hobby, and when he was on the show, I'm telling you, he started to talk, and it's like the chat just went dead. Because everyone was listening to what Howard had to say. There was nothing going on in the live chat of Thousand Mics. Everyone was just hanging on what Howard was going to say next. Very passionate, just a really honorable digger. Proud to know him. It's going to be a great show.
You know, Josh, you can't get better than that, man.
That's right.
You just can't. And I'm privileged to be a part of that tomorrow. I'll be there with, on the panel with Utah, and I'm really looking forward to really picking that man's brain, because you know, you never know what's going to come out of it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that,
you know, I've said many times before that one of these nights I may have to figure out how to be a guest on Beyond Sight and Sound, but with Howard Hewitt being on Family Campfire, I may just have to make an appearance.
Yeah, you better be there.
Other than that, I think we should probably get on with our show. I mean, we've got some great guests tonight. Really great guests. They do a great job with their videos. Very family-oriented. They've been bringing their kids out at a very early age, I might add, which had prompted them to get a little creative, you know, because sometimes kids just they want to be doing other things. They're all over the place. The attention span's a little short sometime, and they've really kind of taken to it too. Just a phenomenal job. Really, really down to earth. Really nice people to talk to. I spoke with them last week for a while, and they're just very, very good people to talk to, very humble. They really enjoy the hobby, and it's great to see them getting their kids out there, too. So we should probably bring them in. If you guys are familiar with the Relic Dirtyhands YouTube channel, we actually have Laurie and Eric from Relic Dirtyhands on YouTube and on the forums. How is it going tonight, you two?
It's going good.
Happy to be here.
Well, that's great, and that's what we like to see. You know, no pressure, no need to be nervous. You may even have a good time. That's the important part, anyway. But oh, go ahead, Frank.
I'm just excited for them to be here. With them.
Right, we do. We may have a little bit of a glitch with the audio tonight, but we've been working with it. Hopefully everything's coming through all right for the listeners. But why don't we begin? For those who don't know, how did you guys get your start in the hobby? Did Eric get his start before you, same time, or what?
No, I think I kind of have I think I kind of got the pick right away. My father had a detector when I was about 17, and it was sitting in his basement. He's never used it. All I know is it had 3 knobs, it had a black box, and I think I cranked it all the way, and I went out, and I didn't find anything. But then Eric came home one day, and he told me about a guy he was working with, and that he was showing him all this cool stuff he was finding, and all this sort of stuff. So I looked online. I couldn't see no one around here sold metal detectors, but I ended up finding one online, and we met the guy out in a parking lot out of the back of his truck, and we basically bought our first used metal detector.
Yeah.
And it was month of October as well, and here in October it is so cold.
Laurie just woke up one morning and she said, "Let's go get one. I want one." And off she went and looked for one, and next thing you know, I think that same day, we were buying a metal detector.
Yeah, we did, and I brought it to the beach, and I remember it was really cold, and the machine kept on telling me I had gold, 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 gold. Everything was coming up in the gold range. I was so excited. I'm digging all these bottle caps and pull tabs and garbage, and Eric's nose is dripping, and he's shivering, and he was just fed up. He's like, "I'm gone."
I waited in the truck, and Laurie was metal detecting the beach. And I was just looking at her like, this is crazy. Like,
I
she
thought it
was
was
bending
nuts.
down and picking out garbage on the beach.
And he thought I was just absolutely nuts. But then the next place I decided to go was at my grandfather's farm, and his farm was built in the late 1700s. So anyways, I decided to go there, and I pulled out this target. I had no clue what it was. It was really big, circle thing. And I called up Eric right away. I'm shaking like a leaf. I don't know what I have. I don't know what it is, but it's really big, and all this sort of stuff. And I found my first large scent. And from that moment on, that was it. That was it. Eric was right in there.
I arrived from work that night, and I saw that large scent, and I was like, wow, that's cool.
He thought it was like the most awesome find. I guess that's what really got him and got us more involved into the finding more of the history in our finds and the older stuff and that sort of stuff. And it really brought us together.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how we started. Yes.
So after you had found what was a large scent, I believe?
Yeah, it was a large scent. I never
So-
saw anything like that before.
So after you had found that, you're kind of going, "Oh wow, that's so cool! It's mine, and I found it!"
Yes, yes, yes. That's exactly
And
how
then
it was.
couldn't wait to show Eric, and next thing you know, you're both hooked.
Oh, that was it. We went back to the farm. We ended up pulling out a bunch more large scents and an old pocket knife, and that was it. We were totally hooked.
You found a large scent and the half of one, a cut one.
Yes.
And
wow.
when we went back, we found, I think, 6 more and the other half.
Yep. Eric found the other half, so I have one half and he found the other half.
Oh, now how cool is that for you each to find half of the same coin?
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Like a pendant option there.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Hang that thing on a chain and they can each wear one.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll both put like a hole in and we'll both carry a half. Yeah,
Yeah.
great
That's a
idea.
great
I
idea.
like that.
Yeah, it would be. That would definitely be cool.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a find with a lot of sentimental meaning.
It does. It was my grandfather's farm as well, and he had sold it. He sold it that spring. Like, he told us he was putting it up for sale. We got to hunt it 1 year, I think. One season, and he was actually an hour and a half away, so we only made it there about 4 times.
Yeah.
And then he sold it. And I could have, I was so upset. I'm like, why didn't I start it earlier?
Right,
Go back
exactly.
and get permission.
Well, that's it, yes. We'll go
And,
back and we'll get yes.
We also have the appearance of Mr. H. Charles Bell
Ah,
in the
hi.
chat.
Hi, Harry.
So, big shout out to him.
Great guy, really great guy.
And let's see, we have a question from Gary Heckman. Who are we listening to? We're actually listening to Relic Dirtyhands from YouTube.
Thank you, Swansea. You got that answered. It's great to have people keeping an eye out in the chat and interacting so much like that.
I wish you could
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I guess I should get out there. We had some issues with the phone lines the other week. It looks like the phone lines are working, though, so if anyone does have any questions for Laurie or Eric or comments, that call-in number is 419-549-5744. And we will try to work those calls in as long as Skype and the powers to be allow. If we miss one or it doesn't allow, well, bear with us, folks. It's a work in progress. We've been dealing with some Skype wrenches lately.
Yeah, the Skype's kind of messing with us. But I do have a question.
Uh-oh. Shoot.
One thing I really admired about your videos, and we talked about this before the show started. I've been watching your videos for quite a long time. And always enjoying every one you guys put out because you guys always have fun. And one thing I really admire when you had your children involved, you didn't show them a relic that you found or a coin that you found. Said, look, we found treasure.
No.
You steered away from that. You wanted to show them, look, we found history.
Yes. Oh,
right.
yes.
It's not treasure dirty hands, it's relic dirty hands.
Right. You know what? I'll tell you what, that speaks volumes to a child. It speaks volumes to anyone who watches your videos, because that's exactly what it is.
Oh, my kids, I swear, to see their face light up when they see something, and they're so, we start talking about what we find, and their eyes are big, and they're just absorbing it all, and, they just love the history, and they just love what we find.
We fill them in on, like, when we're going on a location.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking, there was an old church, and this was an old road, and before, electricity and cars, and they drove here with horses and buggies, and the kids just love to hear that stuff.
They love them. They love it.
And you know what? You can see that in every video you do. And I really want to compliment you on that.
Right.
Because I'm telling you, when I say it speaks volumes, it really does, because you're teaching them, to respect what they find. Not, what they find and what it's worth, but what you find in the significance of it, what it might be.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I really compliment you on that, because that I think in our community we need more of that.
Oh, yeah. It's what it means to us, right? I mean, that's what it means to us. I mean, it's not the value of, like, how much money you can get for this stuff. It's really the history and the person who had it, and just the whole story behind it. It amazes me, and it just amazes me.
You don't get tired of it.
You can't get tired of it.
No, you can't, and and that's why it becomes addictive, because you want to see the next story and the next story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
We do have a question real quick from Louis Change. The way it looks in the chat, he may possibly be one of the admins for Treasure Illustrated.
Okay.
Would like to know what you guys do for research to find potential sites there in your area, which I guess for a lot of the listeners, they may not realize yet. You may want to even let them know kind of the general area you two are in. Yeah,
we're from Western Quebec. How we do our research, well, I think it all began with with purchasing all of our Historical Society books.
Yeah.
They had a whole collection of them, and they were making them since the 70s.
Yeah, they put a volume out every year since the 70s.
Yeah, so what we did is we purchased the whole volume, and I think we spent our whole winter and just reading pages after pages. And then we got more into Google Earth as well. So we use Google Earth. When we find the old maps, we do overlays on old maps, trying to pinpoint exact locations and stuff. But our maps suck here. They're I'm serious, they suck. They're like hand-drawn, or very inaccurate maps, or very crooked. The river starts here and it's okay and it follows, and then it's way off. It's but we work with what we have, and I guess
they're old maps, right? So they're not.
The archives as well. We do a lot of research in the archives.
Read stories,
journals and stories
and stuff. There's a lot of information in those.
Yeah. So if we choose one person or one location, we'll say a seller, we can go and we research in the archives as well under the person. So you kind of get to know the person as well, which makes the hunt even more exciting. It's like you know more about it. So it's.
And that was probably a rather large purchase at the time, along with a bookcase or something, probably, because that was. What, 30-some volumes that you bought?
I think it was 36 or so. 36 or 37 volumes that we purchased in one shot. And then we've been buying it once every year since when it comes out.
And there's just a lot of hints and clues in these stories. Like, they don't tell you the excellent spot and this and that, but they'll give you a name and you can research in the archives where they live. They give you stories on what they did, and it's just very, very interesting. We found a lot of clues through.
In our historical society here, we're lucky because we also have they had a really good website.
Excellent website.
Our local historical society's website has a bunch of stuff in there. It's easily searchable, and you can do searches in text and use keywords and all kinds of stuff. So it's a really good tool.
Oh, that makes it nice, and that is one advantage of the technological age that we're in, is a lot of this information, it truly is right at our fingertips.
It is.
And so the kids, too, they like the overlays, and they like finding. My son, he's only 8. He's 8. He's going to be 9, but we bring him out in the bush, and he can point out an old road that's all overgrown. You can hardly see it, and he'll point it out, and he has these like little laser eyes, He seems to spot, like the trolley line too. He was able to see the trolley line like half sticking out. It was like a mudslide or something, and only half of it was sticking out, and he figured it all out on his own. It's awesome.
Right.
Now, Laurie and Eric, you don't know this, but I have relatives in Quebec. I'm half Canadian. So we have a cottage on Manitoulin Island. Are you familiar with that?
No.
He's not pronunciating it right.
Manitoulin Island is on the east side of Ontario on Lake Huron.
Ooh, lots of nice history back over there.
Yes,
right.
And I can tell you.
We've actually got a caller on with us. Hang in there, caller, and we'll get to you in just a few seconds.
Just so you know, if you can make it over there, there are so many abandoned homes and things, there's so much history on that island, you would have a field day if you took like a week trip.
We're definitely planning on trying to travel a little more since the kids are getting older. We're planning on traveling to more sites and meeting new people and stuff. We started that this year, and I think we're totally hooked on meeting new detectorists and hunting with them. So.
There you go. 919, you're on the air. Who do we have?
Hey, Josh, it's Matt with Tar Heel Diggin'.
Ah! Yeah. And obviously Laurie and Eric follow Tar Heel Diggin' on YouTube as well. Early on in things, Tar Heel had given them a shout out, and they really greatly appreciated that. How's it going, Matt?
Well, things are going great. And I think it's just a wonderful guest you got on tonight with Laurie and Eric, and I just wanted to throw them a little shout out tonight and let them know that I'm a huge fan of their channel. I do have one quick question for them tonight. I know they go back into some pretty remote areas where they're hunting. They go back into the woods, and I'm curious if they've ever run into any issues back in there with any bears or wolves or anything like that.
It's funny you bring that up, Matt, because there is a bear story.
All right.
Oh man!
Would you two like to share that now?
Absolutely. You want to start or?
Okay, well I'll start it off. We got a permission on this old mica mine, And it was a fairly big operation, and they had a lot of mines and fairly big buildings and stuff. And they bulldozed it all. And we had asked the permission, I believe, in the spring.
Before they bulldozed.
Before they bulldozed, and the owner, he didn't feel comfortable. He said, well, we're going to clean the place up, and, midsummer, late summer, maybe it'll be fine and you can go. So we waited and never got a call back, so we finally called back ourselves, and he gave us the permission. So we headed out to the mica mines. And when we got to the main location, it was really, really... the bulldozer had gone by, there was debris everywhere, it was really trashy.
It's layers and layers of thick mica and no signals to get through.
So we're like, you know what, there was a few old roads going up in the hills and stuff, so we decided to go exploring. So off we go, and we make our way down this road, and Laurie, I think it was you or Maddie or one of I'm not sure.
It was Maddie.
Spotted a big...
a big thing on the ground there. I don't know if it's a proper way of saying turd. Scat. There we go, scat. And a big thing, and he points it over at me. He's like, what is that, Mommy? And I look, and I'm like, oh, jeez. And I'm like, well, let's go the opposite way. So let's head off this way. And so I convinced everybody to go the opposite way. And I explained to Eric what I saw, and he was taking the shovel and banging it on all the rocks.
Yeah, I was making noise so that any animals in the area would hear our presence, and they had time to get out of our way. I'm trying to be safe, and walking down the trail, and suddenly we hear this sort of a grunting. It almost sounded like it was a lipping sound, almost not like a horse, but. It was a strange sound that I'd never heard before, but it was loud, and we looked at each other and like, did you hear that? Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Actually, there was a bit of a silence, I think. It was like a little bit of silence first, and we're just staring at each other.
A few seconds there, and we're looking at each other.
There's no farms, no nothing, couldn't be.
I asked Laurie, is that a horse?
I'm like, I don't know. And then we heard it again, and we're like, no. And then my son was there, and I said, okay, come on, guys, let's go. Let's start walking out of here, and he has all these burrs on him, and he's taking his time, he's picking them off. He's like, no, Mommy, I got all these picks on me. And I'm like, baby, come on, we gotta go. Let's go, walk. And I didn't want to scare him to tell him that there was a bear. I didn't want to scare the crap out of him, but he wouldn't move, and then Eric just lets it rip. Maddie, there's a bear, we gotta go. His eyes got and he walked. And while we were walking, Eric is like walking backwards with a shovel in his hand and everything, trying to walk backwards in this really narrow, full of rocky kind of terrain little path. And anyways, we heard him following us. He kept on following us all the way up to...
The cover, it was really thick. It was the foliage. You couldn't really see much. Like, you couldn't see 10 feet in.
Absolutely
And
not.
we could just hear him. And as we were walking back towards up the trail and back to the vehicle, he was following us. He was like escorting us out of the bush, essentially.
And we got into the track, and Eric and I just burst out laughing our heads off, laughing hysterically. And it wasn't until bedtime until we really realized what happened, and then the fear hit me, and we bought bear spray, and we're not allowed firearms, right? We can't carry a sidearm on us when we go out in the bush, so we get this pepper spray stuff. Do I feel safe? Well, I don't know. As long as the wind's going the right way, I think we'll be okay. But, we had some friends recommend some bear bangers and stuff like this that we might actually get for, the kids. The kids have whistles with them and stuff like that as well. And
you have a bear bell that we hang on the backpack.
Yeah. Just, we don't want to do that again. It was scary.
And Back Bacon says that a lot of times that bears will flap their lips as a warning right before they become aggressive.
Exactly. And that's, I guess, when we realized that in the evening, it was that hit me. It's like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
We were there with our kids, you know? It's
kind of like, oh my gosh, we were that close.
I can't believe that happened. I can't believe it happened. Because around here, I mean, normally the bears don't bother you at all. And they hear you and they run off.
Yeah.
But something must have happened. He must have been quartered or with a baby or something must have happened, because normally they don't do that. But this one followed us. It followed us.
Initially, I thought maybe because of all the bulldozing that had just happened throughout the summer in the area.
It's a drought.
And I don't know if they were using one of those mine shafts or something.
As a den, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, we don't want to do that again. But it doesn't stop us from going out there. Just now we're more prepared.
Right.
Well,
I knew there
hopefully
was going to be a bear story in there somewhere, you guys. So thanks for sharing that. That was really a cool story. But I just wanted to call in tonight and give you my support. I love your YouTube channel. I love what you're doing out there and the videos you're creating, the adventures you take us on, and I love the music you incorporate with your videos. So keep it up.
Oh,
we love your stuff too, Matt. It's
Absolutely.
awesome stuff, and we're always watching your videos, and we really love it.
Thanks so much for being there from pretty much the beginning of our channel.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
all the way through. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, Josh, I'll hang up and let someone else call in.
All right. Thanks for the call, Matt.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully he doesn't run across an instance like that up on Harmonica Hill.
So you run downhill.
You run downhill, yes. Run downhill.
Right.
And we've actually got Kurt Franz from the Hoover Boys in the chat.
Awesome.
Shout out to Kurt. And that you guys have been in the hobby now, what, 6 years?
Yeah, 6 years.
6 years now, yeah. So my daughter was about a year old when we
And
started.
only one bear occurrence.
Only one.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that's good.
We saw the leftovers from bears, but that's the only one we've encountered. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Let's try to keep that number on the low end like that.
Absolutely.
Well, we see a lot of friendly animals.
Oh,
though.
so many
the
deer.
kids, they just love it. Love it. Deer and all
Beavers
sorts of
and all sorts.
porcupines and raccoons.
Skunks.
And, skunks.
Right.
And maybe we should explain, too, a lot of people may not realize that how early of an age you guys were taking the kids out with you. Would you like to kind of discuss a little bit about how young they were and what you did to kind of... because you got to get creative. You got to keep them entertained so that you can hunt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I remember we were walking in the bush. I had Jazz on my shoulder. She was probably a year and a half. And we'd bring a blanket and a picnic and some toys. And I mean, we had
so much to carry with us.
Lots to carry.
We even brought a tent, and we would set up a tent for them as well, so as a little playhouse. And then we started building lean-tos with them. We would do lean-tos out there, so while one's detecting, the other one's building the lean-to, and we'd kind of switch and back and forth. We brought in also a book of all the plants, the edible and medicinal plants that are around here. And what I would do is if I spot one, I'd look in the book, find it, show the kids, and we read up on it, and I tell them, here, go find it. And off they would go and find it. And then they started entertaining animal tracks. Yeah.
Tracks, they love that.
Animal tracks as well, so we do that as well. We brought in a swing with us, almost like just a piece of wood with 2 holes drilled in it and 2 ropes, and we would tie that at all of our sites. We'd carry that around with us.
Get there, find the branch, okay, that's the winner, tie it up.
Yeah, and as we move, we would move all the stuff with us to the next, the next square, and sometimes the fishing lines too. We take them fishing, and bug catchers and little containers for them to put bugs and their salamanders and stuff they find. Yeah. But all sorts of stuff like that. And a lot of times, like, the sweet spot was really, really good with them because it was one find after another. And, that was really entertaining in itself for them, and they were really involved and stuff like this. But if not, they're climbing trees and catching bugs and salamanders and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure when there's finds coming, one after another like that, that really keeps their attention because, wow, what's that?
Yeah, exactly. And it's so cute because, Eric and I would get all excited and we're like, woohoo! And then the kids, they don't even know really what was happening, but they just see Mommy and Daddy so happy, so they're really happy for us, too.
Right, Mom and Dad's excited. Now we are, too. What are we excited about, though?
So then we would show them, and it's just so cute to watch our older videos as well, and hearing them going fishy, and they're actually telling people what we're finding, and they're only like 3, 4, and 5,
Yeah.
It was really sweet, really, really cute.
But now they're at an age where they understand a little more about the history and what we're finding. But when they were that young, though, it was exactly that. Mommy and Daddy are excited. We're excited.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think Ohio Relic Hunter is trying to encourage me being lunch for a bear in Washington.
Oh, man.
Grandma Tam says she wants to see one in the wild, so he's telling her where she can go to see one, and I think it'll probably most assuredly end in me losing a leg or something.
We did actually saw a bear and its cub when we were canoe camping and stuff. So we did see a bear and its cub walking down the road, and it's something else to see them in nature. It's you could see them in pictures and see them but when you see them in nature, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, to see them in the zoo is one thing, but to actually see them in the wild, that's got to be one heck of an experience.
Oh, it is. It's.
You feel vulnerable.
Very vulnerable.
Imagine fly fishing and having nothing but a bamboo fly rod and one walking up on you because you have to be real nice and quiet when you fly fish. And one steps in the stream 50 yards from you, realizes you're there, and starts snorting and grunting. And all you have is a wooden stick. So all you can do is go, here are my fish, enjoy.
Exactly.
And, enjoy the free fish. I'm out of here. That was my experience. And I'll tell you what, anyone who says, oh, they're cute and fuzzy and whatever, yeah, they're cute. Not so cute when they're that close, because trust me, you don't know.
Their claws.
Yeah, it's something, it's not, they're not like little puppies, let's just say that.
No.
They don't smell, I could smell it, the whole thing. No. You want to get away from them. Okay?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you have a nice day, Mr. Bear. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Sorry I interrupted your space. I'm out of here. Please don't maul me.
Exactly. That's why we have now, like I said, we have the bear spray, the bear bell, everything possible that, we try, we're always talking. The kids, obviously you can't be silent with kids, right. So they kind of help, scare everything off as well. So,
and that was the trick I learned after that incident. I went into town and where I was fly fishing, and they said, don't you have a bell? No, I don't have a bell. Here. And they said, clip this on your fly vest, and as long as that bell's ringing, you're alerting bears or whatever, and you'll never see a bear. And believe it or not, after that, I've never seen a bear. So,
well, that's what I figured that would happen with Eric, banging this, the shovel on these stones and making these loud noises. But that just, I think, like we said, I think it was cornered. I think that's the only reason why. It must have been cornered.
It probably
somehow.
works like 9% of the time.
Probably 99.9%.
814, you're on the air. Who do we have?
Hey, this is H. Charles.
Uh-oh.
Hi, Harry.
Hi, Laurie.
Hi, Harry.
Hey, hello, everybody. This is first-time caller here.
Yeah, how is it going, sir?
Things are going great. Hey, I want to hear Laurie's version of her sweet spot that she and Eric found, and everything they found there. What was this spot? And give us a rundown on all the coins and relics that you picked up out of this place.
Yeah, that was very cool.
This is just an absolute dream spot. In those journals that we had actually purchased, or all the books from the Historical Society, they took a segment out of a journal, and it was this girl that was talking about summering and her traveling, like how she traveled to get there and so on. And in the journal, we found little clues, but we did manage to find that person's cellar. And when we did the Google Earth, we were able to see an old road. So we started there. So we started at the cellar site. And then we moved out towards the grove. And now this grove area, though, it was like this big, how big was that? It's like a cloud that was drawn on the map. And it was, how big? Like a hectare?
It was very general. It was... there's a grove about there, that's where it was. And they talked about it, she talked about it in her journal, how they used to walk by the grove. From the train station, they used to get off, and there was this popular spot where people used to picnic at the picnic grove. So that, that was really enticing when we read that
absolutely.
story.
We're like, oh my gosh, a Victorian picnic grove? You've got to be kidding. Imagine what you can find there. It was really exciting. And it took us about 2 years because we kept getting distracted along the way. And we found this one location, and we were pulling out a lot of these coins. And it was like a coin and coin and coin, and we found 30 coins in a small area. We're like, yes, we found it. And then it became winter. And as we were researching, we looked and we did the best kind of overlay we could, and realized that's not the grove. It's actually a church site. So we discovered, hey, we still haven't found it. So it was a really, really long winter. And then in the spring we went back, and I actually kind of grabbed Eric and said, come on, Eric, let's go check out this area. It looks really nice. And he's like looking back, and he's like, oh, okay. So we went and checked out this other area, which we found bullet casings, and that's about it. And then when he went back again, he started pretty much back where he was, and he took a few steps over off the road, and it was like, you could pretty much say this part. You experienced it.
We were looking for this place, and I'm literally sort of zigzagging through the bush. Doing big wide swings and picking out any mid-tones and up. And suddenly we found like quite a few random drops, like a coin here and there.
Yeah.
Doing that, but then I found one coin, and I was happy. I think I took a picture.
Yeah, and you texted it to me. He always shares with me when
found what I found. And then I do like 2 steps, and then I get another good signal. So I dig it out, and there's another Victorian coin. It's like, whoa, cool, like they're close together, and it was the same drop or whatever. And
then 2 of them in just a few minutes. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in a few minutes. It was just, he was texting me one after another.
Literally like 4 swings over that coin, there was another one, and then I found, I think, 5 coins in a row. Within like 20 minutes.
And then he sends me the message going, baby, I think we found it. I think we found the picnic grove. And it's been a long journey trying to find this, one little spot, and so I was...
Right, a lot of time and effort
a lot of walking, a lot of scoping and walking, and we were persistent. We never gave up on it.
Before I found those coins, I had just found a... sort of a gold-plated cufflink.
Oh yeah, cufflink. Yes.
And that was like threw me off a bit. Here I am in the middle of the bush, and it's like, why is there a gold-plated cufflink here? And then it was like the coins, and it's like, oh, this must be the grove.
This must be it. So he decides to stop. And he says, baby, I'm going to wait for you. I'm sure we found the grove. And he stops after only, 10, 15 minutes?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. And
yeah, I was going to say, at that point, since he's texting you these photos...
Freaking out.
You're not there to hunt with him right then. Were you kind of going, oh, Eric, you so suck?
No, actually, no. I was really excited. I was really excited for him, but after the 5th one, I was starting to go, whoa, you got to leave me some here, And it's like, because he had this habit of sometimes when he would go off, he'd find some stuff, and I'd go back, and there's nothing left, And I'd give him a good punch in the arm, and I'm like, thanks a lot, guy. But he literally, we had to wait 3 days before we went back for the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, that had to have been a long wait.
Oh, it was long. It was long. It was long. And anyways, he passes me the detector, and he says to me, he goes, okay. He goes, well, you start, So I start, and I'm swinging, and I'm not even hardly getting anything, I'm getting iron bits and that. And I look at him with darts in my eyes going, you did it to me again. You took it all. And then all of a sudden I get one signal. And this was, we only found 5, so that was our 6th. Well, it ended up to keep on going and going and going and going. And we were switching detectors every coin. And then we were finding so much that we're like, wait a second, here, let's do every 3 coins or every 3 finds, because we were finding cufflinks and medallions and buttons. We found so many silver brooches with really cool stuff, like Ms. Pa with 1906 written on it, and one is from Notre Dame, and it has Miss Couche, I think, written on it, and it was 1880, and it has so many personal items that we found, and with initials on it, and like I said, the relics were even a little book. I don't know what that little. It was like this tiny little book. I don't know if it was for makeup inside or something, but it was brass and like a little, it was crazy, the cool stuff we were finding. And it was just one thing after another. And I think we kind of lost count. At one point we're at 185.
We found it, I think it was about mid-June, and we hunted there pretty much every weekend of that summer. It wasn't even a question. Like, we would just get our gear together on the Saturday mornings, and we knew exactly where we were going.
Yeah.
And we hunted it throughout the whole season, every weekend, I think, until fall. And I think we were at about 170 coins, about with a 50-50 ratio of silver and copper.
50-50.
Lots of jewelry, cufflinks, buttons, pins,
gold ring,
all sorts of trinkets. And now we've gone back several times, and I think after last hunt we exceeded the 200 coin mark now.
Absolutely.
From the sweet spot.
Oh yeah, so we're definitely at 200 or a bit more than 200.
And
like
actually,
we said,
the last 2 hunts we found I think 10 silvers and 3 coppers, so the ratio is
really good there.
Right. Now, and how large of an area are we talking about? This is a Victorian era picnic grove.
About an acre. Which is the half of a football field?
Well, it's 200 by 200 feet.
200. Okay, 200 by 200 feet area. So it's only this 2, and it was about that big there.
And
so.
within that area, it was stuff sort of random everywhere, and then there was little clusters where there was just a huge concentration of stuff.
So the concentration was so much that we couldn't leave, some of the fallen trees and logs. So this is where we came up with rolling the logs and sawing off the branches and piling them. So when we go back, we see all our piles of branches and stuff. So we cleaned everything up so we can get a good low swing. And we literally would roll all these logs because the place where it's most concentrated had the most fallen trees. Go figure. It was like...
I think half the logs we rolled over had a coin underneath or a button or something.
Oh, yeah. There was definitely something under all of those logs.
Wow.
So it was a stopping place. So it was a stopping place for travelers that were coming up to summer. And it's pretty much a stopping place between, I guess, the cottages and the train station, because at that train station, we also read in the journal that he had gardens, beautiful gardens, and not anybody, was allowed to step in his gardens. And so obviously they needed a place to hang out, right?
Right.
And wait for the train and stuff. So it's not that far from the train station either.
Nice.
It's not that far.
It goes to show if you put your time and effort into the research and then get out there in the field, beating the ground for it, if you're determined enough, it will reward nicely.
Oh, absolutely. I say it was a process of elimination that got us there, really.
Yeah.
Right. It takes time sometimes, but it's worth it.
Oh, was definitely. It ever? I mean, this is just, it was like a treasure chest full of stuff that was just thrown across the floor. And I'm telling you, but everything stopped in about 1920. So there's not even a pull tab. You don't even have,
There's no modern trash.
no modern trash whatsoever. So when you get a signal, you know it's something old and you have to dig it. And that really encouraged us to dig it all. At first, when we first started, we dug a lot, you know, we dug a lot. But even here, we learned to dig some of the iron signals as well, because they were like little squeakers of iron, and they were coming up as beautiful cufflinks, you know. And so we pretty much dug it all.
At one point, I think we thought we cleaned it up completely.
I don't know how many times we
went a few
thought
times,
that.
and I actually got skunked, and I didn't find anything at all. And but now we're still finding a bunch
years
of stuff.
Years later, and we're still finding stuff.
But
So
we're swinging, like,
slow.
we're taking our time, and we're going back to all those little iffy signals, and we're re-swinging over it and pinpointing it, and
digging it.
you know, digging it out and cleaning it up that way now. And we're still pulling out, you know, with the little fish scales.
I'm amazed. I'm seriously
dimes on edge
amazed.
and stuff like that.
I don't know.
It goes to show that no place is ever completely hunted out.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, this is it, you know, and at first we were sure, we're like, no, that's impossible. But, you know, even in Canada, we have freeze thaw that, you know, pushes up and moves things around. And
Right, very good point.
And also worms and rodents and everything will move things around, bring it up, bring it down, you know. So things move around. So if you don't touch your site for a few years, go back and try it again, and you probably will still find stuff. It proved it up to us anyway. It definitely proved it up. But it's an absolute dream site, and I hope we find another one someday. Is it our priority to find another picnic grove? Not really right at this moment. We're looking for older, you know, more history and older, and it was a lot of fun, but we did miss a lot more of the, you know, relics from the homesteads and stuff like this. But maybe someday. We have a few other picnic groves that we know of that we haven't gone to get permission on yet, but it's in there for someday.
Right.
Okay, I do have a question for you and Eric. I'm familiar with the Canadian territory, as you know, we discussed earlier. Have you ever approached any of the native or Indian reservation side to see if you can metal detect there?
Well,
just because I know that there's a huge that's a huge amount of territory in Canada, and I know I've been on a couple of reservations there, and it almost is like you walk into 30, 40 years ago when you're on there.
It's something. It is something definitely that we're interested in, and we. My father is, really good friends with the Native communities and stuff, and so is Eric's uncle. And we were thinking about it, and we wanted to kind of help them out because they're developing a lot of land that they lost in the treaties and stuff, and we kind of want to offer our services and say, hey, let us go in first, and we'll give everything to them. Definitely give everything back to them, but I'd rather see something saved before it's lost. To go on reservations and stuff, I mean, it's definitely what we're looking for, more in the, it's, to hold something. I mean, it'd be a dream to find native silver that has all decorated and, etched in, and just beautiful artwork that they had on it. I think I would shake, and I think I might even pass out if we ever found something like that.
Well, I can tell you from my experience, and I'm just going by when I was young. When I was on Manitoulin Island, I would look across the bay to the reservation, and this is kind of hard for people to believe, but across from our cottage, across the bay, which was about 4 miles, was a Christian church and a graveyard. And to see that, when you're young, you don't think about it as much, but when you think about it now, you're like, wow, there was actually a Christian church on a reservation.
Oh yeah, we've read a lot of the history.
And now, that I'm into this hobby so much, it's like, oh, I would just love to go there and just try to do what I can to help that reservation, to bring up whatever I can for them,
Yeah.
I bring that up to you because I know there's so much history with that culture. It's kind of like, God, you just don't want it to be lost, and you want to help, and there's that political side and everything else, So I really hope I'd love to see you guys do videos, trying to do that, because I think if anyone can, you guys can.
Yeah, that's actually a good plan, a good idea. We're gonna have to look into it a little more and stuff like this. It's still a little nerve-wracking to approach, to knock on somebody's door and ask for permission, give them a call. It's not so bad, but this is quite big, and I think maybe it's because it means so much to me that I'm kind of taking my time on it.
I think I recognize this number now. I think we've got Harry back. Go ahead, caller. Who do we have?
Yeah, hey, this is H. Charles giving you a call back here. Hey, Laurie, you mentioned native silver, and, how's that tie into the French fur trade up there and the silver that you've been finding along those lines, and the importance of the fur trade? I'd be interested in hearing about that.
Well, that's it. Like here, that's it. In the 1700s, that's what we had here was fur trade. Now, you had thousands and thousands of natives, but you didn't have many fur traders. And where we live, it was our rivers were, extremely hard to navigate, and they had to portage a lot. And it seems to have looted us quite a lot, this fur trade. But it's the old. Yeah, that's good. The importance of the fur trade, it was extremely important, and it breaks my heart because when the war happened and the British won, the French had a treaty with all the natives here, and it was supposed to stay as a place for fur trade, so, but as soon as the British came in, they started giving the land away, and they just cut everything down, and trade left. It left really quick, probably maybe 20 years after the first settlement. And
wow.
So the thing is around here too, it seems like a lot of the trade places, they're developed now, so we've been trying to kind of go further out, away from development and stuff like this, trying to find some stuff. We found a few things, a trade axe, and we found a trade axe and a few little pieces, but never any silver yet. Silver was traded. They were traded for like 5 beaver pelts, for this little trade brooch. I think it was 5 beaver pelts. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong or something like this, but it just seemed that, the more silver they had, the more, now I'm starting to get stuck on this. I'm missing my birds and stuff. Harry, come on.
I never hunted the fur trade, and I've been doing this for a long, long time until I met you guys. And now, I've gotten into the whole history of New France, and it's a fascinating history. So if you're out there hunting, this is some research that you want to do, because down here in Pennsylvania now, we're looking at hopefully being able to find 5 or 6 different fur trade posts along the one river.
Nice.
And, if we actually find these, this would move the delineation of New France about 70 miles east from where they actually thought it was. And,
yeah, that's something similar to here. Our river here, a lot of people told us over and over, no, there was nothing around here. But it's because HBC only came in the last 10 years of trade or 20 years of trade. Before that, they were all private posts and stuff like this. And this is what we've been trying to find, because there was one, and they said that the French would actually move inland to pretty much cut off anybody else, so they would pretty much trade. So they would go up river. So we've been searching for this, and this is close to where we found our trade axe and the obsidian and stuff like this. But you're talking about a small, this small little building, this little wooden structure that was placed somewhere.
Yeah, literally a needle in a haystack.
Exactly, and you have to read the land. You have to look at the slopes of the river. You have to think, hey, no one was going to climb the bank, if it's this steep. So you have to look for slow-going slopes, and you have to really read the land and try to place yourselves with the fur trademen, and man, the stories are amazing. These guys push themselves so hard, and the stories are amazing. Like anyways, that's here. It's hard. The research on the
Laurie and Eric, we'll have to talk after this, and I can give you my thoughts on that, because I've seen some indications from what I talked about you with that you may do very well.
I look forward to that.
There you go.
You know, you have to look at the North Channel, because that's where the French would come in. So if they're coming through the North Channel, which I'm sure you're familiar with, there are only a few spots that they would do business, and there's a couple of places I think you might do well at, so we need to discuss it.
Absolutely. Well, definitely. Absolutely. If you can get us closer to, just to have a little piece of that history of fur trade, it would just...
You know what? I if anyone can do it, you guys can do it, and that really is, it's a piece of history that's kind of lost.
Right.
It really is.
True.
Because no one really. What do we have from that era?
We have some documents. They documented
but
some.
Really, very rare tangible objects.
Yeah.
So
those fur trade items have kind of eluded them.
Right.
Yes, they have. And we've been looking hard, We've been researching hard and looking hard. And like I said, I always feel like, that picture where the guy is in the mine and he's getting close to those diamonds? It's like, you just never know how close you are. Well, this is how we felt for about 2 years. Like, I think the year before, 2 years ago, we really spent a lot of time on it. And this year we've been trying to expand on it too, and without much success this year. But not for the trade anyway.
We've eliminated it.
We eliminated. We're doing the process of elimination again, yes.
There you go.
Yes.
I mean, if nothing significant was found, well, you still found something. You found that what you're looking for isn't there.
Exactly, and we always have a good time looking for it. It's always an adventure, and we love searching for it,
And that's the important part, is to have fun with it.
Yeah.
We've got a couple other questions from the chat, too. Kurt France from the Hoover Boys would like to know, who does the editing and keeps up with the comments on the Dirty Hands YouTube channel? Is it a team effort, or how does that work?
The
Mostly
editing...
Laurie.
Yeah, the editing, Eric and I started doing it together in the beginning, but it just got really difficult because he couldn't see my vision. I guess that's all I can say is my vision of it. And so I basically took it over from him. I took it over, and he was happy about that. And with the comments, Eric does it a lot in the wintertime, but it seems to be... the rest of the time, it's pretty much me. I started to ask him, we started putting our names sometimes, but no, it's often me. But for Tar Heel, Eric always replies on Tar Heels.
So Eric's kind of going, oh, wait a minute, that's Tar Heel. I'll take care of this one.
It's pretty much.
He's got the Tar Heel love.
Yeah, got to show the support, right?
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's it. I've been doing the editing and all that sort of stuff of our videos
You did a great job of it.
Thank you, baby.
And
He's such a sweetheart.
obviously, you guys are hunting in Canada. Do you find many U.S. coins?
Oh, not on this side. We found a few barbers, I think.
Yeah, we found a few barber quarters and dimes. We find the occasional
the large...
Indian had a couple of large cents.
Yeah, and a few large
I've never
cents.
found a merc.
Never found a merc. We've never found, and I want one because the little things on the head, the little wings. I think it's like the coolest looking coin.
Wow, that's kind of interesting to hear that they're in Canada, and they have a bucket list item of a Merc.
Yes. Yes.
They're digging up Victorian era picnic groves and awesome coins, but there's still a Merc on that list.
There's still a Merc. Yes.
Laurie, I'll send you a few Mercs, okay?
Thanks. I don't know why I'm like, we should have been finding them, but we don't come across too many American coins, but when we do, it's really exciting. It's like, I love them.
The one I really want to find is a seated.
A seated, yeah.
Because I found a lot of
nice.
the Canadian equivalent of seateds all the time at the picnic group.
That's it.
But never a seated. It's just barbers and Indian heads and large cents.
Yeah.
So that's kind of another U.S. coin on the bucket list, so to speak.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. But
I know I hit a seated quarter earlier this year. That was just neat as all get out for me.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I love the American coins. I find them to be very beautiful. I don't know. I guess they're different too. But anyway, I'd love to,
And for me, they don't. The modern American coinage that we have today just does not have the eye appeal to me that the older coins did. The Mercs, the Barbers, the Seededs, they just had, I don't know, it was like there was so much more passion that went into designing the coin or something. Their design meant something to them, whereas now it's like people just kind of view it as, oh, it's just coin,
That's what I feel. That's what I feel about the coins today. I mean, we find all the Victorian coins, and up to 1926 or 8, where they changed from the cowboy coins. Now we call them 36 until 1936, but pre-1936, the coins that we find, we always called them cowboy coins. I love the design. They have like a reef around them, and they were just so much prettier and so much more detail, I find, than our coins today. And the clad today, I think it was Kurt, actually, on his video, he found a 5-cent, a Canadian 5-cent there and a quarter. But today's coins are steel core, and I found some coins that were probably in the ground for about 2 years, maybe, and they were totally toast, like holes in them, pitted, rusted.
Exactly. We have that with our zinc pennies and stuff like that. The coins of today just do not hold up to the elements like the coins of yesteryear, so to speak.
But the great thing, if you're a clad hunter in Canada, you can really make your gas money fast, because we got toonies and loonies, which are dollars and $2 coins.
Oh, yeah.
You can really make your gas money and battery money quick.
Yeah, I see that quite often from Chris Turner. He's it's nothing for him to go out and find $20, $30, $40.
Absolutely. Like, I think one time in a few hours at the school site there, I pulled out about $26 in clad there.
Yeah, see, now if we could do that down here in the States every time we went out, man, you'd never find me at home.
That's going to be a full-time job, right?
Right. I'd stop long enough to change batteries.
If we didn't have the family or this sort of stuff, I'm sure Eric, I would never have him home.
Now, have you found with the kids, now that they're getting older, does the load kind of lighten as far as the gear that you're having to carry into the field?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Now they have their own backpacks and they carry their stuff.
Yeah, they carry their snacks and
carry their water and snacks.
Absolutely, the load is a lot easier. And now they pretty much entertain themselves. So we don't bring them any books or toys and anything like that. They love to salamander hunt and climb trees, and they just love exploring and that sort of stuff. So it's much. Oh yeah, at first you should have seen what we were hauling. We pretty much had camping bags full with us for one day,
Kind of like you're packing for a softball team or something.
You bet. You bet. The more I had with me to entertain them while we were out there, the better our chances were. So,
And it's happened a few times where we went out there and we were really into it.
Oh, really?
And the kids just like, we don't want to be here. We want to go home, blah, blah, blah. So, like, okay, we hunted a little bit, we packed up, and Came back home.
You come back home. If it's an hour, it's an hour. Whatever they can handle. If they're out there for, I've seen them go like an entire day, 8 hours with us without complaining on going home at all. And they're they're troopers, I'm telling you. They enjoy it. I mean, in the spring, my daughter was telling me, she's like, Mommy, I'd like to go, she goes, well, we could go to the park, but she goes, let's go metal detecting in the spring, because we haven't been out for so long that even my kids kind of crave going out. They miss it, and they really enjoy themselves, and, it's an adventure, and they just love the woods. They're at their best, too, out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, hardly arguing or anything like that, which is really nice.
Right. And, I don't know, if they're taking into it like this, maybe soon they may be carrying their own detectors into the field.
Yeah, Maddie has already tried the Garrett that we had, but it was really heavy and awkward for him.
Yeah, he's
ready. I think he's pretty much ready to start, with his own. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, last few hunts at the farm there, the kids were really into it.
Yeah.
I was waiting to have my detector back. Like, come on, guys.
He had 4 kids. They had 4. I think the 4 kids had the 2 detectors and the pinpointers, and they were on their own, man. They were. They were digging their own plugs and pulling out square nails and all sorts of stuff. They were excited. They really enjoyed that together. So yeah, next step is a child detector, and if I can figure out a good one, I don't want to get them one that will discourage them in any way. I want a good
something
child
that's
detector.
easy to use and dependable.
Yeah,
and
easy
lightweight,
to use, lightweight, dependable, if that exists.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this. I'm not trying to plug anything, but I guess I'm going to. The Go Find 40.
Go Find 40?
Yeah, I think that would be a wonderful, wonderful unit for anyone just starting out, and you can do much more with it.
Oh yeah, very lightweight machine.
I'm really impressed with it, and I really like what I've seen with it. And I'll tell you what, if it was a choice between the Garrett, 250, 350, AT Pro, all that stuff, if it for kids, that Go Find, I'm telling you, bar none, even anyone, I think it's a great unit, and the price is great. So I would look at that.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. I'm just gonna write it down, because I definitely want to start probably Matt, and I'm sure Jazz is going to be like his little assistant. But I definitely want to start them next season.
Yeah,
definitely.
And trust me, I'm not being endorsed by anybody. It's just from what I've seen, and really, I'm really impressed with that unit. I really am. I think it's a great machine, and I think it's a great all-around machine. Not only for a backup machine, for anyone. I think it's got so many good features that you could, even if you're running an AT Pro and it fails on you for whatever reason, you can use that unit and go right along and do the same job.
Right. And you can find videos that show its abilities and features and stuff on MindLab's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
The Hoover Boys did a video about the Go Find series, and recently on Ohio Metal Detecting there was a video about the smartphone app for the Go Find series.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you can.
We'll look to it.
Machine, I'm telling you, you can't go wrong with that machine.
Good. I'm kind of waiting to hear, like, I've had all sorts of people recommend Bounty Hunter and AT Pro or the, different machines and stuff like this, but I've been waiting patiently for a really good one for the kids, because like I said, they've been into it for already 6 years with us. They even know our machine. They can hear the tones. Even Maddie was swinging ours, and he's like, hey, I got a really good signal. And sure enough, he pulls out this pocket knife, really cool pocket knife. So, the kids, I don't want to start them off with something not...
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, and I can say from my own experience, as far as user friendliness, the GoFind 40 is extremely easy to operate and user friendly.
Awesome. That's what kids need, you know?
Yeah,
That's what the kids need, is something very simple and, you know, and this sort of stuff. So is it multi-tone as well?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
And weighs in at approximately 2.3 pounds, collapsible to 22 inches, waterproof coil, and only runs on 4 AA batteries.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's the world's first Bluetooth integrated detector. You can actually hook it to your cell phone via a smartphone app.
Oh, that's cool. And dramatic. Oh, definitely. We'll look into that. Like I said, I know the kids are ready. The kids keep taking our detector, but it's so heavy. You should see them go. You know, they're holding with both 2 hands, and they can hardly swing it, you know?
Right.
That's why I'm jumping that unit to you guys, because I'll tell you what, honestly, I know how long it took for me to master the AT Pro. That's what I used. It took me literally 6 months to master it, to really know every phone, every feature, everything, until I got comfortable with it and I know what I'm doing.
And you guys follow Tar Heel's channel. He also did a video on the GoFind.
I know, and I feel so awful because I missed it. And the thing is we were going through so much. I didn't even release a video through at that time. We were so busy, and I wanted to do this so bad because I know Maddie and Jazz, like, you know, they've been in it for so long, and I'd love to see them with the detector. And I just, oh gosh, it was awful.
And sometimes that's, you know, like you were saying, Frank, you watch, gosh, countless hours of video before you decided on your AT Pro, correct?
Right, I probably, and really, this is no lie, I probably watched 1,000 hours of it until I decided that was the unit for me. And I'll tell you why, because I didn't want to buy something less and go, oh darn, I should have bought this because now I got to upgrade. And
yeah, that's what we did.
My feeling is, if you go with anything other than an AT Pro for your children to get them going,
which is also a very good machine.
It's wonderful.
I tried it though, but
it's going to be very hard for a child to master. So what's the alternative? The GoFind, which will do everything an AT Pro will do, except it can't go underwater. It's not completely waterproof, which, okay, you can deal with. But it has the Bluetooth features and other features that will, you know, do more for it. And, you know, I think for anyone who really wants to get into this hobby, sorry, I have no, I don't have an alliance to Garrett. I love my unit. I think I love my machine. But when I see something that I really believe in, and I really believe in that unit, and I'll tell you what, I think that is, for the price, you will be very happy with it, and your kids will too.
Ultimately, you have to find what works for you.
Ultimately, yes. And believe me, I'm not trying to sell the product. I'm just telling you, look into it.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great little machine. And handy addition to the arsenal, good for the beginner, and still of an advantage to the advanced user.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just, you know, like I said, are you going to throw an AT Pro at a, 10-year-old kid? You know, it'd take him a long time for really to understand everything, unless you're right there really trying to teach them. Yeah. It would take a long time for them to really understand all the different functions and the features and everything else. Yes, it's worth it in the long run because, you're not going, you don't have to keep stepping up. Right. But what are they going to lose in the process? They might get frustrated, all those other things. And honestly, that GoFind, after they master it, it's a great backup unit, if anything. If they want to upgrade, great, but you got this Go Find that does a great job.
Yeah.
And that's my point.
I know I experienced the AT Pro on our Lost Village. I know Matt had lent me his AT Pro to try for the day. And I do have to say, yes, it would take me a really long time to learn it. But by the end of the day, I was getting a bit of the hang of it. But yeah, there's a lot more involved with the AT Pro than, I could see, than I thought. I can see it probably taking a longer time and, to really get to learn it. So
yeah, and we don't know it. So
we don't know it.
We wouldn't even be able to show
our kids it. Absolutely. And we've been with the MX3.
That's my point. The point is, you want to get them involved. You don't want them to be frustrated.
No. You don't want to discourage them.
You want them to be right there with you and having fun.
Right.
The last thing you want is, this thing, I don't understand it, I'm done. You don't want that.
That's right.
I feel if you get anything less than an AT Pro, and the only reason I'm saying if you get anything less than an AT Pro, you're going to upgrade. And now you've just wasted that money because you're going to upgrade. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So why not get something that's almost as capable as the AT Pro, that works as well as the AT Pro, minus the weatherproof capabilities, but it has other cool features like the apps and everything else.
What's really important for kids, I know with my kids, is just simplicity. Would be simplicity of the machine. Basically, that they need to listen, because with us, we detect a lot by listening. Yes, we know our VDIs now after using the machine for so long and everything else, but honestly, it's all about listening to the tone.
Audio wins out over VDI.
Absolutely, because we also learned that at our sweet spot. The smallest little, the little bleeps, and it just has to be simple and for them to listen, and it doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles along with it. As long as it's multi-tone and dependable, is, because the kids will learn it. They will dig their nails, and we will let them, and we're not going to make them discriminate stuff either. We want them to learn the machine fully.
Yeah, absolutely. You get a few different tones with it, so that does become a little bit of an advantage.
And, ultimately, you want them to have fun along with you, too.
Yes. Right. It'd be so cute to see them pulling out their first, they pulled out a lot of our finds and stuff, but to see them pull out their real first find, oh my gosh, I'll probably cry. I'll be so proud of them.
Well, we have kind of run over a few minutes. We're pretty much at the end of our rope, but before we go, is there anything else you'd like to mention where people can find you guys?
Oh, we're on Treasure Illustrated, on the forum Treasure Illustrated. We're also on Facebook and Google Plus Hangouts, Twitter, and that's all I really got to learn so far. Oh yeah, of course, YouTube, our YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, Relic Dirtyhands, and if anybody ever has any questions, they can contact me through any of those places, and we'll be happy to answer them, and happy to go for hunts with other people too. So anybody in Western Quebec or drivable distance, give us a call.
Right. Well, we certainly appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us tonight. Frank, always a pleasure to have you sit in. Hang in there with me, guys. We're going to roll out of here in a minute. For the listeners, we appreciate each and every one for tuning in. A number of new names in the chat. Always great to see. Keebler was in the chat, too. Always a pleasure to have him in. If you like the show, click the hands, show us some stars, you know the drill. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe next week, maybe we'll do a little bit of a trick-or-treat style show, maybe give away some goodies or something. You just never know what's going to happen next around here. Always keep them guessing, right, Keebs? For everyone else, though, we do have to roll. Thanks for dropping in. And, we're around next week. So, everybody have a good night.